So today's the day, a huge day in crypto today. We're going to talk about why that is as we have a major face-off getting ready to take place. We know how big the SEC has been in basically hindering crypto to really expand here in the United States. And one of the reasons was something they did back in June. And today we get to learn about how Coinbase gets to potentially fight the good fight against SEC. And I got to say, a lot of experts out there like Coinbase's chances. We're going to talk about all of that in this video and dive into it. But Coinbase and the SEC are set to face off today for the first time in court. And listen, motions to dismiss, which that's what they're aiming for here, it's definitely a long shot, right? When we look at historical data points and historical cases similar to this. But Coinbase does stand a chance today in getting the SEC's lawsuit thrown out completely. It is still on the table, at least in part. This is coming from some of the attorneys in the case and some of the other attorneys that are just covering the case as well. So the SEC went after Coinbase in June. So the SEC filed a lawsuit and it kicks off today in Manhattan. Legal experts and crypto fans say that the exchange has a solid chance at getting its way. So Coinbase looks to be kind of already in the early lead in the eyes of many people following this and tracking this. But oral arguments on Coinbase's motion to dismiss the SEC's lawsuit filed last June will kick off in Manhattan again this morning. Now, the SEC sued Coinbase back in June, alleging the publicly traded crypto exchange was operating as an unregistered broker. There were also some things that they dove into with the whole staking rewards that they didn't like. The agency also claimed and mentioned 13 different cryptocurrencies available on Coinbase that were securities. 13 cryptos that were on Coinbase that were securities. This is alleged by the SEC. Those cryptos, Solana, Cardano, Polygon Matic, Filecoin, Sand, Axie Infinity, Chiliz, Flow, ICP, Near Protocol, VGX, Dash, and Nexo. Some of these are also, major cryptocurrencies that have really seen some nice gains since this all happened in June, which is kind of funny. But Coinbase in August argued that the SEC was overstepping, 2 months after, as none of these tokens meet the classification of a security. Lawyers for the exchange further argue that the regulator had allowed the exchange to go public. This is a publicly traded company via direct listing in 2021. So how would they let them go public and now come back 2 years later and say that they're registering or they're operating as an unregistered broker? It's absolutely actually laughable, what the SEC is trying to prove here and trying to do. I don't think they're going to win this case. I think Coinbase is going to win with flying colors here. That's my 2 cents. Now, the SEC, this is a quote from Coinbase's team. The SEC has violated due process, abused its discretion, and abandoned its own earlier interpretations of the securities laws. Coinbase's team wrote this back in August. Then they went on to say, but there's a more fundamental problem with this case. One the chair recognized 2 years ago, and that entitles Coinbase to judgment on the pleadings now. The subject matter falls outside the agency's delegated authority. So basically, there was never any precedent set. There was never anything set in stone that said, hey, this is the way this whole thing should look. This is how you should basically operate in the United States to abide by everything the SEC is saying. None of that was ever done, right? And that's what's really bullshit in this case. Now, Wednesday's hearing presents an opportunity for both sides to speak their piece and plead their case to presiding judge Catherine Polk Falia, who could opt to dismiss the case in full or in part today, sent to a jury trial, or issue a summary judgment. We'll see what she does. A full dismissal, as we mentioned at the top, definitely a long shot here. But a person familiar with the matter told Blockworks the fact that Falia has opted to proceed with oral arguments, a fairly rare occurrence in early motions to dismiss, is promising. So there is an outside chance that it could be dismissed. And it's not Falia's first case in the crypto realm as well. So this judge was back in August. She dismissed a class action complaint against Uniswap, actually, noting her opinion that that Ether is a crypto commodity, Ethereum. Thalia also said in her opinion that Congress and the courts have yet to make a definitive ruling as to whether to classify cryptos as securities or commodities. So this is really good. She has some positive history of, basically deciding on crypto's favor here, on crypto side of things. Thalia may rule tomorrow, or today rather, on the motion to dismiss, or more likely take several weeks or months for her opinion on this. Don't be surprised at all if this thing gets drawn out. We'll be covering it right here on the channel. But wanted to bring you guys up to speed on all of this and what's going on. We'll definitely be checking it out every step of the way. So make sure you guys are locked in by subscribing to this channel right here. Also hit that like button so more people get the news today. It is a big day for this entire cryptocurrency space, and this lawsuit is definitely going to have some big implications on altcoins moving forward in this next bull run. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next one.